Hey everyone, it's Hirsch Wilson, and today is October 22nd. I want to start a new video series today, and it's called Living the Life, and it's about what it's like to be a volunteer firefighter and what are the lessons learned. It's 8 videos and 8 stories, so here's the first one. It was a typical Tuesday morning, about 11 o'clock. I was working at our kitchen table, my wife Lori was at the store, and our dogs were sleeping. Then my pager toned out. I wasn't startled like I had been when in the first couple of years I was a firefighter. So I just waited for the dispatcher's voice to come on and tell us what we had. And then she came on and she was stressed. She said, 9 Echo, baby, Apache Creek Road. A 9 Echo is a cardiac arrest. Before the dispatcher could even finish her message, I threw on my firefighter t-shirt and was out the door. Most in EMS and doctors and nurses in the hospital will tell you when it's a baby in crisis, it takes us to a whole nother level. The exception, I guess, are the pediatric critical care teams who deal with babies in crisis all the time. They are my heroes. The dispatcher was urging us to get there. There was an ambulance out ahead of us, but because we were in the mountains, we couldn't hear the radio transmissions. Then the dispatcher came on radio with stress in her voice and said, the baby is still pulseless. I remember saying, come on baby, come on. And I drove faster. And then the dispatcher came back on the radio and said, with a little relief in her voice, that the baby's pulse was now 150. I remember pounding the steering wheel, saying, come on baby, you can do this. I drove up this wet and winding road in the mountains and then down into this little village. I parked on the road, got out of my car and started running down the driveway. 2 other firefighters joined me. As we got to the house, there were 2 dogs, they were nipping at us. Then the sheriff pulled up, so it was a little chaos in front of the house. And just as we were about to go into the house, the paramedic that was ahead of us in the ambulance stuck his head out the door and just said, everything's fine. The baby was born pulseless and blue, but now it's breathing, it's got a pulse, and we're just waiting to deliver the placenta. Another firefighter and I sat on the porch and calmed the dogs. And even though it was a snowy April day, and we usually want to get off scene as quickly as we possibly can, for some reason I just wanted to sit there in the glow of a new baby. In a few minutes, we had gone from a normal day to dread, and then determination, and then relief. Then I felt the exaltation of new birth. I hadn't been in the room this time with the delivery team, but you could feel the sense of new life emanating out from the house. And I just wanted to sit there and take it all in. New life. If you let it in, it's a primal feeling. Wet, bloody, painful, and fragile. And it hangs there between the extraordinary gift of life and the abyss. This time, the baby chose life. I am, the baby cried out. I am. And an extraordinary journey begins. And I just wanted to bask in that for a moment or two. A few weeks later, I was standing in the station with the paramedic who had been in the room. And we were talking about all the births we had attended over the years and what they meant. And he said, it balances out the scales. And then his voice trailed off. And he thought for a moment and he came back and said, after all the years of horror, a healthy baby balances out the scales. Being a firefighter brings you close to the fundamentals of life. Birth, death, tragedy, the mundane, and the miracles. You find joy in more of the simple things. And annoyances, the inconveniences of life don't bother you as much. And that's the gift of being a firefighter. So be brave, be kind, and fight fires.